Hi everyone, this is Nazon, world famous astrologer, and these are your weekly horoscopes. As our horoscope week begins, I want to talk to you about the fourth quarter moon. It's very important because it sort of sets the tone for the entire week. The fourth quarter moon, the light of the moon, is winding down, and it starts in the sign of Aquarius, a fixed sign. We're detached, and then it moves into the sign of Pisces, the sign of Aries, and then the sign of Taurus, where it will become new. But a fourth quarter moon is best for, well, reviewing things, for deciding what's working. And we start out the week by doing so in a very detached way. So it's fixed energy that rules this week, because also we have a lot of changes with the planet Mars, which I'm going to get to. As we are in the fourth quarter moon, and we know that the lunar energy is winding down, we have less of the light of the moon to work with, meaning we have less information to work with also. We have the planet Mars, which starts out the week, well, in the later degrees of the sign of Taurus. We have fixed energy, we're steadfast, we're focused, we're determined, and also we're single-minded. But the moon and also the planet Mars, Mars is conjoining the Pleiades. And of course, some people think that the Pleiades is a good energy. Some people think it's a forbearance of sadness and things to come. So we have this energy here that with the light of the moon that we have, don't have as much information as we need. We have Mars changing signs, going from the Pleiades into the sign of Gemini. And of course, we go from a fixed energy to a very scattered, I want something new energy. So definitely this week is like imbalance between knowing what to do. On the one hand, do we stay with the tried, the true, what we know to be stable, or do we try something new? Or do we do both things? Once a year, the planet Mars will oppose the planet Saturn, and that is a good thing. So this week, the planet Mars, in the very first degrees of the sign of Gemini, which wants to stir things up, wants to try something new, is easily excitable, is opposing the planet Saturn, which, as we know, is retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, these two planets opposing each other, on the one hand, the sign of Sagittarius wants to know deeply about things, really become an expert and knowledgeable about things, and wants to move ahead and transform things, wants to expand. It's the Jupiter energy in Saturn's place. And then we have Mars, which doesn't really want to know that much about things. Well, kind of glosses over things, wants to know a little bit about everything, let's say. These two planets oppose each other, and this is a dynamic energy because the opposition suggests that near the two shall meet. And of course, we have people who want to know little, they don't know enough, with people who know a lot. Also, the sign of Sagittarius is law, and Mars, of course, rules police officers, it rules force, it rules aggression. So this week, you're going to find out where your blockages are and what you have to work on. The good news is that this is a time for review this week. It's a time for you to wind down. It's not a time to start new ventures, of course. We have the planet Mercury, which is in its shadow right now, getting ready, poised to go retrograde. And that's a good thing because it gives you time, a second and a third chance to see if all of these amazing ideas that you're having, all of these fresh starts, new beginnings, if they're going to pan out. And of course, we have the new moon that starts in the very last degrees of the sign of Taurus. And of course, the sign of Taurus is steadfast, like I said. It's solid, it's focused energy, and it's determined to get ahead. So there's a real blending of new ideas, fresh starts, a curiosity of what could be, and the new moon, which says, stick to the old. So in part, we've got one foot sticking to the old, the tried, the true, what we know, and we're still looking ahead to our new ideas. We have something this week to get excited about. This week, Aries, you are determined to stay in control of your finances. And while they might seem up and down, because remember, your ruling planet is, well, it's conjoined the Pleiades, the weeping sisters. And this brings a mixed influence. So you have to stay focused and determined on the one hand, yet looking ahead for new opportunities on the other hand. Not a time to sign documents or to sign paperwork or to commit yourself just yet to any well, major purchases, let's say. So let's wait until the new moon, and even let's wait for major purchases or signing the documents until after Mercury goes direct. For the sign of Taurus, this new moon is in your sun sign. Can you wait? Can you wait until 1 week is over before you get your fresh starts, your new beginnings? With all of this energy in your solar first house and in your solar second house, many of you are taking the initiative. You're steadfast on one hand, but got your other eye on the future. For the sign of Gemini, the sign of Gemini is also in the same, almost the same position, let's say, as the sign of Taurus. With all of the planets funneling into your sun sign now, it is your time for a fresh start. But Saturn is in your solar sixth house of hard work. So even when you think that you can't fit any more into your schedule, into your daily routine, well, you just can. And for the sign of Cancer, the sign of Cancer is one of those sun signs that, well, is completing things. We have all of the planets poised in the 11th and the 12th solar houses of the sign of Cancer. And these houses are coming down in the chart, meaning that you've done a lot. You've put a lot of effort forward. And now it's time to wait and let them ripen. Let's see what happens. Your time will come in July. The sign of Leo is still one of the luckiest sun signs out there because, of course, you have the lucky planet Jupiter in your solar first house, which kind of gets you wearing Teflon a little bit. Anything you do, anything you say sort of just slides off, even if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But nobody escapes Mars at that very last degree moving into the sign of Gemini. When I say very last degree, moving from the sign of Taurus out of your solar 10th house of career, giving a mixed atmosphere on the job, in your business, or in your career, or with authority figures, and into the solar 11th house of hopes and fears. As in, I hope I said or did the right thing. For the sign of Virgo, it's still about personal relationships. Mars is a malefic planet, and as it conjoins the very last degrees of the sign of Taurus, then moves into the sign of Gemini, your solar 10th house of career, fame, fortune, and success, well, it still has you wondering if you're doing and saying the right things. Are you making the right impression? So there still is a little bit of apprehension for the sign of Virgo. With Neptune in your solar 7th house, you never really know what people are thinking. For the sign of Libra this week, as Mars, the ruler of your solar 7th house, enters the sign of Gemini, your solar 9th house, well, you just might want to travel. You might want to do things. You might want to escape your daily routine. You might start thinking about things. You might think you know everything, and you don't. The 9th house is about deep understanding, committing to really learning, higher education, legalities, where we really have to be in the know. And there's nothing in the know or deep in understanding about the sign of Gemini, which just wants to sometimes gloss over details. So watch that. For the sign of Scorpio, this is your time to really look at your finances. Mars will, once a year, will oppose the planet Saturn, who's poised in your solar second house of M-O-N-E-Y, money, dollar signs, and cash. We have to be very, very careful. Do not enter into financial agreements right now. You might regret it later on. Or if somebody does ask you to enter into a financial agreement, well, you better think once and twice. Next week, the sun will then oppose the planet Saturn when everything gets exposed. Sagittarius, with the planet Saturn poised in your solar first house, well, that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. Yes, you are starting a brand new 28-year cycle, which always is good because when Saturn comes out of the 12th house, you really get your mojo back. You really start feeling like, yes, I'm number one and it really is all about me. But as the planet Mars goes from the sign of Taurus into the sign of Gemini, your solar 7th house of personal relationships, significant others, best friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, well, it's you against the world. Now for the sign of Capricorn, with the planet Pluto still retrograde in your solar first house, you still are a powerhouse. Don't forget that. But it's all about thinking about how far you've come, what you can do better. What I think about the sign of Capricorn with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn is that we always get to a point where we think, this is all there is, let me just throw in the towel. That's Pluto energy. As Mars is at the very last degree of the sign of Taurus. You're steadfast, you're purposeful, you're making money. But as it enters into the sign of Gemini, you're going to be questioning yourself. Have I done too much? Do I have enough time? Should I have gone in this direction? That polarity between the 6th and the 12th house, of course, is crazy. And things can come up unexpectedly. People can change your schedule. You really can't rely on, well, a fixed schedule anymore, which is what your sun sign likes. And for the sign of Aquarius, this week can make you go cray-cray too. And of course, the planet Mars is in the sign of Taurus. It starts out conjoins the Pleiades. And of course, this is fixed energy. And well, you're a fixed sun sign. So getting it into with others and sort of like mixing it up with people won't be a good thing. It's not a time to expect that you can have your way. Mars will then enter your solar 5th house, still a fixed house where you want to dominate. You want to have all the questions and all the answers, and you want to be the boss. But can you? Mars here, remember, is a malefic. Pulling and pushing your weight around will not go over well this week. For the sign of Pisces, we have Neptune in a long-term transit in your sun sign. This puts all the energy on you. A nice blend of angelic, yet, of course, halo energy. A change in your aura, let's say. You are creative, but also this can bring you down in the dumps from time to time. And what we have as Mars moves into the sign of Gemini in your solar 4th house is a lot of up and down energy. I'm happy, I'm sad, I want to throw in the towel. No, I don't. So this week, we have to get through to that new moon energy. Thank you everybody for joining me with my weekly horoscopes. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check in weekly because I'm uploading these weekly horoscopes every single week.